It's cold, man.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right. So, better talk about football. You gave us the walk on life over at West Virginia. Okay, so after your time at West Virginia, how was the transition? From leaving school to life after West Virginia. Was it like for you? Like, what exactly did you? I know you're coaching right now, but what was your transition like? What did you do after? And then what led you to coaching high school football right now?
Got you. Man, towards the end of my collegiate career, I was really just starting to have some different encounters with God, and that really what spoke to me. Once the beginning of the season, he's told me, "Hey, there's certain things I don't want you to do anymore, and I'm gonna cut you off of that thing. I'm gonna cut you away from that, and I'm gonna wean you away from those things that'll hold you back." And I said, "Okay, man," and from there. I'll start making plays in the games and making tackles and player of the week and stuff of that nature. And then when I didn't obey God, I see things will go terribly for me. I'll get close to making a tackle or they'll fumble right in front of me, and I'm instead of me grabbing the ball, now Robert Sands got the ball, and I'm looking at him like, bruh. But no, it's because I wasn't obedient to what God was telling me in that moment. And so then that begins the process and this transition from me going from football to kind of the ministry and self development, personal development, and things of that nature. And going through that process, I was stayed in West Virginia about another year, worked around the town, knew a lot of people, and found a good job there, and then moved back home. When I moved back home to Miami, that's when the transition really started to hit even more. Um, because you don't get the same response, and now I'm not in that college town atmosphere, so now you don't get that same love, and everybody doesn't know you. You're not that top guy anymore. So now it's like, okay, what do I do from here? What is my purpose now? And God at that moment was preparing me to reevaluate what is my purpose. And so that's what transitioned there for me. It was like, okay, what for, this is it. Like, either I'm gonna go pursue this thing, like I'm gonna go and call some agents and try this walk on the NFL life and see what that's going to be
Mhm.
about. um but I had kids at that moment, and with me having kids, that was a bigger responsibility. So unlike some of my friends who's able to have the opportunity to say, they try it out for different teams and different things of that nature. I didn't even get to do my pro day, so I missed out on that, and so like I got transitioned back to the mindset of like this real world now. I got kids, I got responsibility. I didn't get to end it the way that I would like to put me in the best position for the next, level. So now it's just about figuring out what's next, what's my purpose. And man, I started reading my Bible, and I found the book of Jeremiah and this worksheet from when I was a kid, and I looked at it, and the answers on there just spoke to me and reflected who I was and who I am to God and what I mean to God. And from there, man, I started looking for purpose and what was going to fulfill me. And got back here in Miami, got involved in ministry. And then a couple years later, um, dude from work knew my dad and was invited me out to come coach with him at Dr. Crop, Michael Crop here. And that's how it started for me. Came out there, started coaching wide receivers. And I was in that transition phase of finding my love for football again after being a walk on, dealing with different mistreatments as walk on. Um, I was falling in love again with the game because opportunities I didn't capitalize on, missed opportunities. And so it just led me to building a relationship with God, starting to coach down here, wanting to teach kids and really give them that raw essence of what it means to be an athlete, a student athlete, to have values and the type of lifestyle that you need to live to go out and attain, take advantage of whatever opportunities you have. And that's really what I did at West Virginia. So it was a big transition, man. It's difficult. You go through a lot of, when you put up on this pedestal as an athlete, and then when you come back to this realization that, hey, I'm just like everybody else now. Like I gotta go get it. There's no favoritism. There's no one might not give me uh, a second chance or extra chance just because of who I am. So that was a big transition. It's humbling. It was a lot of times where you got to be humble, man, because it's like I got to go learn something else now. I got to do it's a new process. I got to fit in. What type of role player am I now in life? You know, I was a role player in playing football, DB, special teams, whatever it may have you. But now, all right, what is my role in life? And then I started to figure that out. So ministry became an even bigger tool for me to use. It was very reflective, and it helped me through that process of the hurt, the disappointment of not, making it to the NFL, not having that opportunity, or the decisions of like juggling. Should I be? I'm a father, but then I'm trying to be a student athlete at the same time, juggling all those things. And so God helped me deal with those emotions, the regrets, or the shortcomings, and but also to look at the brighter side, the opportunities I had to travel, to network, and now be able to, and the diversity, I can speak and communicate effectively, but yet also can be who I am, raw, and the essence of me, and the confidence that I breathe now from it. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It was a journey. Life after football is a journey, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of stories from coaches. I want to focus a little bit on your coaching right now. That even though you have a season, it's pretty much 12 months out of the year, because you're in many cases you're preparing for spring game. You're also making sure your kids are taken care of. Um, your paternal side as a high school football coach as well. How much does that play a role with your student athletes that are crop senior high school?
It was big, especially when getting back into it. I did youth ministry, but it was different now. I'm dealing with young boys, young men, who may not have father figures, or they don't, or had an older brother, or uncles, and you don't know what is their background and who's influencing their life. So, the greatest thing you realize is I have an influence on these kids, and so as that parental concern comes in, you like, hey. No, don't do that. Nah, you gotta eat. Yo, are you eating? Man, you gotta drink water. You ain't drinking water, you cramping. Nah, look, no, you gotta plan accordingly. Why you ain't got your uniform? You gotta think of the next day ahead. Why you didn't pack that in your bag last night? So the things of that nature that kicks right in, those fatherly instincts, they kick in, and you realize that these kids, that's what they need. They need that extra guidance. Especially in this area as far as football, but also they need that mentorship. They need somebody who's going to see something in their life and push them towards it. Imagine that I've seen a couple players where I have to tell them, hey, look, football may not be your next option, or you may have to walk on like I did. So this is the type of mindset that you have to have for what's next. I don't want you to not be prepared for it. So you got to start thinking now, and so you have to think for them. You have to put things on paper for some of them, and some of them you have to illustrate it. You got to give them an example so they can see the direction or where they're going. So it's vital to be able to use those skills and look into the kids and see what skills they have, what they don't have. As a parent should, you should learn. You got to learn your kids. You got to learn what they're good at, what they're not good at, what works for you, and put in the best position on the field and off the field. So I got a lot of involvement with mentoring kids, taking them under my wings, picking up. I used to pick up one from home and drop them off to school after working a 12-hour shift. Things of that sort that you buy into because you like, man, like this kid. You just need one person in your life that's gonna support you. That's a good sound voice, and I promise you get where you gotta go. So it's big. I learned as an athlete growing up, I had my dad in my life, so I don't always could relate when I would hear others speak on that. So now coaching, and my dad passed away actually 2020, my first year coaching. My dad passed away right before I started, so it made it coaching more paternal for me because like I gotta speak into these kids' life. My dad gave me one thing: live the lifestyle that you want to live, so that you can whatever sport, whatever you do, you got to live the lifestyle that is perpendicular to the direction you want to go in life. If it's if you can't go in opposite directions, you got to go in the same direction. So that was big, and as a the paternal part, I realized this thing is more about it's more than coaching. It's more than coaching.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And as a teacher, myself as a teacher and working in a high school, I try to do what I can for my students the best I can, my kids the best I can, as far as teaching them goes, and understanding that they have a life after school. But there's certain things that I can't control that goes on in their home life, and also their surroundings. Okay, as far as being a coach goes, how do you deal with the external aspects of your players' lives, and making sure that if there's negativity around them, they don't fall into that negativity?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, man, is once you is sit back, listen, watch, observe, and then allow that um to guide you how to bring guidance to that child or correction. So and redirecting. Most of it, a lot of it is a lot of redirecting, redirecting their focus, their attention, and let them see for themselves what the fruits are. Hey, okay, you do what I actually been doing, and I teach you. Hey, you take this step, it's gonna make you that much faster. You do this consistently, and then you see the results. They see the results for themselves. You got a stopwatch, you got a video, you got something to prove and show them the progress. They're like, okay, you know what, you're right. A lot of those kids go by that nowadays. They gotta see it. They gotta see the progress. So when you influence them and redirect them, you gotta give them, hey, look, you see him every day. He keep doing this, right? And it gets worse. And then when they see it from that, they see the fruit of it. A lot of them respond from that place. Either they're going to accept it or not. But that's the thing. I think that we have to present it to them in such a way that they can see it and understand it. And once you do that, it's not about how many times you say. It's not about what you say. It's about presenting it in the most efficient way that they can understand it and it relate to it, grab it, and say, okay, either I'm gonna acknowledge it and go after it and make the choices, or I'm gonna sit back and say no, because they have to make that choice. If I tell a kid, don't, hey, smoking marijuana is not good for you, it's going to affect you in the long run, they still have to make that choice when they go out there. Now, every time I see him or I smell it or whatever the case may be, I'm letting him know. Yeah, okay. Because it's going to drive home the point. But he has to make that decision. No, I don't want that for me. I see the results. I see the fruits of it. You know what, Coach Smith is right, but you got to be consistent, and that's the thing, is being consistent on it. If I don't like it, if it's not good, I'm no, it's a hard no, and you got to give them that way. You got to tell them, you got to show them the results, and when they see the fruits, that's up to them. So my biggest thing is being presenting it to them so that they can make a better choice, be efficient in what I teach them, in the mindset about it. um what's in your head, what's going on, what are you thinking, why are you doing this, or you don't know why you're doing it. Okay, getting them to think and question and self-reflect. And so once I do those things, man, it's really up to them. You can care only as much as they can. Like, I've seen kids that you want to pour into, you like, hey man, you got all the tools, but if I can't provide that one thing that you need, you got to say no to it, because this is what's on the line for you. Um, so man, it's heartbreaking sometimes, because you really want the best for the kids and you try to put them in the best position. But at the end of the day, when they gotta make those decisions, it goes back to what their parents have taught them, or in how powerful your voice is in their ear. And so, I mean, you drive yourself crazy, man,
Yeah, it's a
carrying
tough
as
task.
much, like,
Hmm.
and when you got a heart and this purpose and this ministry, everything else involved, like, man, you're gonna do everything. Like, but it sucks. But it's the beauty of it. You got to keep pouring out. You got to keep pouring. You got to keep pouring. You got to keep pouring, because they need it. And that's really it, man. You just got to keep pouring.
No, no, it's. I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It's
Right.
difficult. It's a difficult job being a coach, being a teacher, mentorship, and as well. But you're not only a coach; you're also involved in youth ministries, as we could tell by your
Yes.
handle down there by Coach Smith. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in youth ministry, and tell us a little bit in the youth ministry that you're doing right now.
Um, so I got involved with youth ministry back in my home church, actually. So a place that gave me different opportunities to host different events or and grow in public speaking. So I was given an opportunity once I came back and was coaching and everything, and that's how I got into it. And it worked out beautifully for me. Love kids, and got I love them so much. I got a handful myself, but um, it was a beautiful thing. I got to really connect with the kids and learn them, and my pastor believed in me, and he said, "Hey, I think you have a strong calling in this area, and the kids gravitate to you. You have a voice for the youth." And so I took the opportunity to start doing a Bible study with them and ministering to them, and teaching them different things and aspects about the Bible, and using my own life experiences with God to connect them with God and help them to see God in their life. And so I use those tools and skills that I learned, and now combining coaching and youth ministry together. It's like I mean, it goes along with my purpose, but it helps me understand them a whole lot better. And the mindset, what's going on? Is it faith? Is it fear? The spiritual realm that may affect, the natural realm that they're living in right now. When you got a kid who's going through things at home, and you don't fed him, you don't gave him water, you don't took care of him, you don't brought him a pair of clothes or shoes or deodorant or shower gel, whatever it may be. But this kid internally is hurting. They got things that they can't talk about, or they don't have the faith, or they're in fear, whatever the case, and they need prayer. They need somebody to love on them. They need a foundation. They need a belief system that supports them and lets them know, affirms them who they are, helps them with their identity, helps them with purpose. And so when I realized that, ministry and Christianity all in sports and just life, how it coincides with each other, and it made me realize that, oh, all I'm doing is doing the same thing when I'm coaching.
Mhm.
Same thing when I'm doing with ministry, is redirecting their focus and affirming them in the places that they need to affirm. Help them to identify who they are as a person, identify their strengths, their weaknesses, so that they can capitalize on those things. But then also, but help them to grow and internally to be secure. So man, it was interesting, going from a youth minister to coach, and then now back to youth minister and a coach now at the same time. So I think I did pretty well at both. That God's gonna give me a chance to do both at the same time.
Now you definitely work hard at it, but feel free to give a shout out to your home church, man. Go ahead.
Most definitely, man. Right here, Miami Gardens, and me church here in Miami Gardens is Mount Hermon. Great, awesome church, youth ministry. We're growing. We're looking for more kids in the community to really have an impact on. We're a very community based church, and Bible believing people. So it's awesome to be a youth minister there, man. Mount Hermon. So you guys are more than welcome. 9:30, come see me. Actually, Mr. Smith, Coach Smith, Minister Smith, it don't matter. You just say Smith, they gonna know who you talking about. And I would love to minister to the kids, man. I love to minister to anybody else. It was me playing football that I heard God's voice the loudest in most important part of my life. And I'm here now because of that. So now I'm helping these kids to hear God's voice. So definitely come check us out, man. Mount Hermon AME Church, Miami Gardens, Florida. We right here, behind where the old finger licking is. So can't miss this Big Peach Church, man. Ministry is awesome. It's awesome, bro, to do ministry with the youth and to redirect them and get their minds back on the thing that's gonna drive them home. Because you get up there, you're in West Virginia, you're in these other places, and mom and dad not there. You gotta be able to have some faith.
Mhm.
There's some nights, there's some days I had to take that football in the closet and I had to pray because I'm like, God, like this thing gotta work out for me. And so instilling those things in these kids nowadays, have some faith base, have a belief system, be grounded to something that is gonna help you with your purpose, your identity, and identify who you are. That biggest thing I think ministry and football or any sports can connect with. That's the biggest thing, you know.
Before we sign off, I want you to let everyone know what is the goal for your ministry and what is your goal in working with youth.
So my goal right now, the vision is to help kids to relate to God, see and hear His voice in their life, and at an early age, so that they can have their own personal experiences with God, so that they know that He's real. If you if you have your own experience with God, I can't take that away from you. You'll know without a doubt that God did that for me. He spoke to me. He knows who I am. So my goal with youth ministry is to help kids to connect with God at an early age, understand their purpose, and understand the gifts that God has given them, so that they can maximize their life here on earth and have a Christian lifestyle that is healthy, that is fun, and you still keep the essence of who you are, but yet you understand your spiritual responsibilities, and that's really my goal. And far as with football, it's the same thing. I teach the same from the same place, you know.
Coach Smith, thank you so much for joining us here at 305 Sports Now. Very inspiring, great story about your from your high school days to your walk-on days to your playing to what you played to coaching to ministry. You're like a jack of all trades, man. But thank you so
Just
much
a,
for joining us. You're
just a
welcome
little bit.
anytime on the show. If you ever want to talk about stuff you're doing, whether it's football related or whether it's faith based related, you're welcome to come on anytime you want. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will. I appreciate it, man. You're a great voice in the community, and
Thank you.
it's
Appreciate it.
awesome to be on this platform with you. Shout out to True Prep Academy. That's where I'm coaching at now, offensive coordinator. So we're looking to do some great things this season. So shout out to True Prep Academy. Follow us on Instagram as well. Um, Man, Will, check this guy out. This dude's awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate it, man. God bless, man. I really appreciate you.
God bless you, Will.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you loved this interview, all right, if you like the show as well, all right, if you like the show as well, please do not forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that share button. Once again, for Coach Smith, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon.
Sure.
And by the way, I have some shows lined up for you. It seems to be that there's a firestorm rolling with Miami Hurricanes. Okay, I will be doing episodes on Demetrius Campbell. I will be doing another one on
Yeah.
Jaden Wilkerson, and I will be doing one as well with Amari Wallace. Okay, so commits. I will be talking about that as well. And I'll be doing a short on the Panthers, good or bad. All right. I will be doing a short on the Panthers. All right. Everybody stay safe. God bless you soon. Go Canes, guys. Bye bye.
Yes, sir.